Good morning, stamping friends, and welcome to my YouTube live channel. My name is Lorri Heiling, and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And do you know that I just celebrated my 17th year of being a demonstrator? I cannot believe how fast this time has gone. Well, today is a big day in the Stampin' Up! World. Today, our new annual catalog goes live, so you can order anything you want out of our current catalog. I'm so glad that you're joining me today because I'm going to share probably my favorite card I've made so far out of the new catalog, which isn't a lot. I've been using our previous catalog items, but I'm really excited to share with you, especially if you are really into the crafty business, not only stamping, but maybe a knitter or a sewer. You're going to like this card. So I'm going to turn my camera around and share with you this card where you might need your sewing machine, but if you don't have a sewing machine or don't like to use one, I have an alternative where you can make the same exact card without a machine. All right, so let's get started on today's crafty project. Today's card features the stamp set Crafting With You. This was one that really caught my eye when I paged through the brand new catalog. And the best part about this is the dies that come with it. Now, some of these coordinate with the images that you'll see here, but there's some additional ones like this cute little paper trimmer. And I did cut one out just so you can see how cute it is. You can't really tell here, but look at this little mini thing. It is Barbie size. There's actually a slit that is made so you can slip the paper in between. And then I always like to pop that up. That's the little blade there. Isn't that so cute? Oh my goodness, I feel like I could make earrings out of this. Oh, I love it. So we are going to play with this today. We're not going to use the paper trimmer, but if you are a sewer or you know someone who likes to sew, you're going to love this card. We're going to use the cute little sewing machine here. Now, this stamp set is the stamp set that I'm using in the online card club this month. So if you would like to get a lot of projects using this stamp set and the dies, I should say the bundle, then you may want to join me for May. You have until May 10th to sign up for this. You will get at least $20 worth of product in with your kit, 8 cards, 4 designs, 2 of each, and that includes shipping as well. So you're going to want to take advantage of that. I will put the link in the description area of my post today. All right, so I'm going to kind of make 2 versions of this. One is for those who are diehard sewers who actually own a sewing machine and know how to sew. And then I'm also going to show you an alternative if you like kind of the look that it gets, but you don't want to mess with the sewing machine. I have a simpler version as well. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is I want to share with you the little map that I made. This is going to just show you the placement of the pieces, and you can see we have kind of a patchwork thing going. So I'm going to show you how to use this. I need to hike this over a little bit more. I see that this line did not show up, but so we'll use these over here. I made 4 of them because after you see what we do with it, then you'll understand why there's 4 of them. So I am just going to cut this down the middle and over to the side, and then I will show you what we're going to do with this. I forgot I wanted to show you the paper we're going to use. This is called Countryside Inn. Isn't this beautiful? I think it uses almost every blue that we have. But we are going to make kind of a quilt looking card, and this paper is just perfect for it. And I want to show you all the sides of it. So we have Misty Moonlight, we have Balmy Blue, we have the new Boho Blue, there's white and navy. So like I said, just about every color is in here for the blues anyway. All right, isn't this so gorgeous? Oh, I love this. Okay, now I want to share with you, don't get overwhelmed because this really is simple, but just to get us started, it's a few steps before we get to the actual card. Okay, here are those little patterns that I cut out, and I want you to know that these aren't exact. They might be like 1/16 of an inch off. I played around with my computer, but it's all right. They're almost 4 by 5 1/4. Actually, that one's pretty close. They're close enough. And what we're going to do is one is going to be like our map, and we're not going to cut this one up because when I started cutting these shapes out, even though you can tell how this puzzle will go together, but I kept getting mixed up, and I tried to guess where they went, and then I couldn't remember which side was up, and then that really messes it up. So you need a map to know once your pieces are cut apart, you need to set it on here so you know which way is up and which side is forward. Okay, so what we're going to do is I chose 4 different prints that we're going to use because there's 4 different shapes. So, and the other thing is this card is going to make 4 cards because we're going to make every piece, and you can, you know, arrange them however you want. But I'm just going to share with you how to make one, and then I'll probably go ahead and finish the rest and then show you all the different combinations. So let's set this map to the side. And this one we're literally going to put right on top of it so that we know where we need to cut. All right, so now these are identical. Actually, this one is a little bit too long. I'm going to trim this down just a little bit more because it really needs to match up perfectly. So we'll bring it right down to 4. That means cut right on the line. Then it will match up with our other ones. All right, you can still see the dots, but it is hard to get this exact. All right, so we're gonna put this on top, and I think this is gonna work. We're gonna cut through all of these at the same time because if you try to redo it later, it just does not work. So we have 3 DSPs. So I chose Misty Moonlight, and this is all different collections, and the side that you want up, like facing up, is what should be facing you when we cut it, like this. All right, we are just gonna go from dot to dot here. So we'll start at this corner and put that dot right there, and you're going to line it up in that little canal there. There's a little divot, and that's where the cut is going to go, and go forward and back so that you get all the way through 4 layers. When you're done, put it on your map over here right there so we know where that goes. Now let's do the next one, which will be this one, and just keep it together. Don't move it around so that they will fit exact. And let's go like this. Whoops, jiggled a little bit. Back and forth again. Okay, now this is tricky. You got to see how this goes and put it on your map again. Actually, you can line up the dots like that. You see that? Okay, now we just have one more slice. And we're going to go from that dot to that dot. Do you guys remember playing dot to dot when you were a kid? Now, you just have to be careful when you start because sometimes this will want to jiggle. All right, so this piece is going to go, see, this is what I mean. How did it go now? There's the right angle, like that. And then this one, like that. All right, it's very important that you keep it on there because I promise you, you will get mixed up. Okay, now, we aren't going to worry about the base of the card yet, but I will tell you what color I made it. I made it the new boho blue, and this is 8.5 by 5.5, scored down the middle at 4 1/4. So, okay, to get my bone folder here, we can go ahead and crease that. All right. All right, now the next thing we're going to do is just take a piece of basic white cardstock, and this is going to be what we're going to build everything on. You won't even see this, so if you want to use any color really, or scrap, whatever, but I just use basic white, and you can go ahead and take all these little pieces off like this, and I still keep them on the little pattern here because it just gets confusing. I don't know a better way to say that. Okay, I think for starters, we're going to start with the plain colored one, and I think I'll use this one. Now, when you think of like your grandma's quilts, they were all these different fabrics with different prints. Some of them are solid. However, this one we need to make look a little bit more like fabric or material. So we're going to emboss this. So I'm going to I'm not sure which embossing folder I want to use yet. I'm going to choose one, and I'll be right back and show you which one I'm using. Okay, that was really easy to choose because once I went over to my embossing folders, this is the first one I came upon. This actually is not in the catalog. However, we can still get this because this is what they call an online exclusive. There's some things that Stampin' Up! Offers that are not found in the catalog, but they are online exclusive. So this is one of those. This is a 3D embossing folder, and however, you get 3 with it, and I know these photos don't really do it justice. You can't really tell. So this is kind of a hexagon, or not hexagon, but like a, what's it, crosshatch, I believe. It just kind of is a more subtle look, and you can make it even more subtle by tipping it upside down. So that's one. Then we have this. This definitely looks like a fabric. I've seen baby quilts or baby blankets made out of that. It's kind of, or you know what they look like? Those fidget toys that the kids have now. They're in different shapes. That's what it reminds me of. But the one I chose is this. Doesn't that look like a really pretty quilt pattern? It's kind of embossed in the flowers there. So that's the one I chose to use. But I just wanted to show you those folders. In case you're interested in this, you can only find the number online because, like I said, you're not going to find it in the catalog. And I'm looking for an item number. It is 161598. And because you get 3 of them, it's $30 because our embossing folders are normally around $10, so that's why it's a little bit higher because you're getting 3 of them. Okay, so this is what it looks like once I got it embossed. Isn't that pretty? And I think we are going to use our multi-purpose liquid glue for this because then we can kind of, you know, fudge it around if we need to. But when we do this, we do not want to add glue to the edges because we don't want our sewing machine to go through that. So I'm going to go mainly in the middle, and I don't think that one's going to hit the sewing machine, but I probably shouldn't have done that one. Just put it more in the middle, because if you sew with this, like we're going to do one of them, it's going to hit your machine needle, and we don't want it to get all gunked up. Okay, so just go from edge to edge, and that will be our starting point here. Now, according to our pattern, we're not going to use this one because we've already done it. So now let's go to this one. So I'm going to pull this pattern up that I want to use. And let's add glue to this one now. I want the lighter blue. Again, only go in the middle. We don't want the edges at this point. And line this one up. And they should be exact because we cut them all out at the same time. And once we're done, we can go back. But this is going to be sewn down anyway. You see how it lifts a little bit, but it will go down, believe me, because we're going to have a sewing machine run to it. All right, the next one I want to use is this corner one, and we're going to go one more layer down. I know this is a pain, but you want to keep these together because it is too hard to put this puzzle together. All right, let's go in the middle again with your glue. Now, if you're not going to use a sewing machine, feel free to go out to the edges. And these should fit exact. See how that fits? Really nice. And the last one we're going to do is that striped one. And let's just put the glue in the middle again. Isn't this coming together nicely already? All right, now if we were going to quit right now, which we could, we would just go with this. And it looks fine just like this. You might want to put a little border piece, like 1/4 of an inch if you want to divide those, but you really wouldn't have to. But I want to use this one for the sewing one. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to get out my sewing machine. Now, you want to practice before you do your stitch, because when I first turned my sewing machine on, it wants to revert back to what the factory thinks is the best zigzag to do, but it was too far apart. I wanted mine a little bit closer together. By the way, you can sew on paper. It's not going to hurt your machine. So we're going to do a zigzag stitch here. And so I'm going to play around a little bit before I sew on this so that I get it the right length of stitch and distance between them. So hold tight while I get my sewing machine out. Okay, I am done sewing, and you're going to see ends all over the place, but that's all right. I just want to show you what we're going to do with those ends. So the first thing, the ones that end that are by an edge, we're just going to flip over, and we are going to adhere them to the back side. So just put a little tape on there and flip it over, and then let me trim it down. This is just to make it not so messy on the back side. Let's do the same over here. Whoops. There we go. Make sure you stick it on the tape. You wouldn't even have to trim them down, actually. Let's go here. It looks like a baseball on the back side with all this stitching. There. Actually, this one I'm going to trim down. It might peek out the side. Okay. And then this side, one left over here. Then I'm going to show you how to get these middle ones down, because we have a couple of the threads that are sticking from the top side. Whoops, I put it in the wrong spot. Where is my sticky? There we go. All right. Actually, I am going to trim these down. They're just bugging me. Hopefully no one will take your card apart and look on the back side, but I just like things neat and tidy. Okay. Now, Flip it over. Now, see these? We have to figure out where these came from. So what I do is I kind of guess about where it is, and I flip it over, and I'm just going to take my pokey tool and start pulling, because one of these is going to pull it. There it is. Whoops, not that one. All right, there we have the front of our card. Now, the next thing we're going to do is mount this to the front of our card. So we're going to just grab our dimensionals and put these on all the corners. I think, whoopsie. We are also going to put them in the middle, because anytime it's a 5 1/4 by 4 inch piece, I like to put one in the middle so it doesn't sag. How many of you are quilters out there? A lot of time crafty people, whether they're stampers or scrapbookers, are also crafty in other ways and like to sew or quilt. All right, this is coming together. Center on like that. Now we need to get that sewing machine on here. So let me grab the next set of supplies we need, and we will start stamping. All right, the next thing we're going to do is grab our basic white paper. We're going to make the sewing machine Night of Navy. We need a little bit of contrast here. Because this is photopolymer and kind of a more solid image, I tend to use our foam mat here so that I get a nice even stamped image. Sometimes it'll miss in the middle if you don't put that foam under there with photopolymer stamps. So that's a nice image. Now we're going to die cut that out, which I did beforehand because I'm making a whole bunch of these, and look at how it even cuts out the middle. Isn't that awesome? All right, then the next thing I did was I took our Stylish Shapes dies, and this circle is the one that is about 2 1/8 inch, and we are just going to put this on here. I tried putting it on the front of the card, but it got a little bit busy with all that pattern, so I felt like it needed to kind of be anchored down with a circle die. So let's just put a few of these on the back. All right, and then this is coming together. We have to put a sewing machine on this card. And that looks pretty good. Now, before we put it on the card, I want you to take our Night of Navy ribbon. What's the technical name? Night of Navy, just Night of Navy. It's in our current catalog. I'm glad this carried over from our spring one. And what we're going to do is kind of that trend with the zigzag. So what I'm going to do is kind of have it placed how I want it to go first. So we're going to, let's see, start about here, then zigzag once, and then zigzag again. And then I'm just going to place this on here to make sure you can see all the edges. That looks pretty good. We can always trim it down more. All right, so what I'm going to do is figure out where the middle of this is, and I want to adhere some tape here, or put some tape underneath the ribbon so it will adhere. So it's right about here. And let's just go a strip like this. That should work. All right, let's do this again now. So I think I went about here. Zigzag once, and then zigzag again. And I might even add one more little piece of tape. I think it'll stay down pretty good, but see how it pops up there? So I always keep some good old Scotch tape handy because I want this to stay and not bunch up like that. Now it's not going anywhere. Kind of flatten these down too. All right, now we're ready to put this little doodad on. And I want this to be over a little bit more there. Okay, and I'm also gonna trim the end of this. It's kind of at a weird angle here. All right, now you're gonna see that I'm gonna go crazy on the dimensionals because I want everything popped up. This is maybe gonna be a 2-stamp card by the time I'm all done with this one. All right, let's put this on like this. Okay. Now, I like to put a sentiment. We wouldn't have to. We stamped on here already, but I wanted to add a sentiment. But some of them were getting too big. I don't want to cover up the rest of what's going on here because it took so much effort for the sewing part on here. So what I did was I took just a basic white smaller circle. This is the smallest one in Stylish Dies, and it's only 1 1/4 inch. And then I'm going to use our new boho blue ink pad. I really, really like this color. It's a little bit darker than our balmy blue. In fact, let me show you quick. I made these for people that are in my In Color Club, in my online card club, and my team. So here's 2 of our blues that we're using, and let me compare it to, there's balmy blue, and the one I want to show you is boho blue. So you can see how they're all a little bit different than, there's blueberry bushel, that one doesn't even count. So there's balmy blue. You can see it's a little bit darker. You definitely see the difference here. And then here's the other 2 colors that we're using. So that's the color palette. All right, back to our card. Now the stamp that I'm going to use is just a small one. I think the only one that will fit on that tiny little circle is With Love. Now I don't tend to use that foam pad under words because usually I don't have too much trouble with it missing any ink, you know, like where if it misses some areas. So we should be good to go with that. All right, then I am not going to use dimensionals on this. I just want this adhered to the front of our card. And we're just going to sneak it right under this circle like that and just overlap it a little bit so that you can still read the love like that. Make sure it's straight. Going a little bit uphill, I guess. I always have to stand to do that. And then, of course, we can't write With Love without adding a little heart on there. So I think I'm going to add a navy one, and there's 3 little heart shapes that come with this die set. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue on the back side of this and add it right next to where it says With Love. There we go. There we have it. Now there's our little masterpiece that took a little bit of time. Now one thing I wanted to show you, remember how I said don't glue these down or don't put your liquid glue around the edges? Now we can go back. You can see where it's lifting and just add a little bit there. It really should just be the corners. I probably could have glued that down as I was doing it, but I just didn't want to risk any of it. This corner's probably up a little bit, just a little dot right on the, you know what, when I make my next one, I'm going to just add a little glue on the corners of these because now I know where they hit. Although this corner I can't because it's going to hit the sewing machine. So these 3 corners are good to put glue down. All right, there you have it. There's our card today. On the inside, I just put basic white at 5 1/4 by 4. I should have done that. And then I would just make this probably a note card. You could add some other sentiments here. Life is better when you're crafting. That one would work. Oh, any of these really, sending you a handmade hug. So, well, thank you for joining me. Oh, I was going to show you the other version, but I think I kind of showed you. All you do is this exact same thing, but you don't have to put that stitching in there. So whatever you prefer. All right. Thank you for joining me. And don't forget to sign up for my online card club and my In Color Club that goes for 5 months. Read more about that in the description area. One other thing I wanted to mention was I do have a Stampin' Up! Website where you can order products from me. And like I said, today is the first day that you can order from our new catalog. Let me grab that for you. And I like to get mine bound so that I can, you know, page through the catalog. We can finally show you the inside of the catalog. And I just think you're really, really going to enjoy this. If you don't have a catalog, please contact me and I'll let you know a way we can get this in your hands so that you can peek at it as well. And if you see any products that you like, please order from my Stampin' Up! Website, which I will put the link to. And then also, if you use the host code and if your order is over $50, you'll receive a thank you card in the mail from me and also some new product as my way of saying thank you for your order. Now, better yet, because we are in a new catalog, probably the best way to get more product for less money is to just go ahead and buy a starter kit. That just means that you pick out any products from the current catalog and you can choose $125 worth of products and you only pay $99 plus you get free shipping. Now our shipping is 11%, so you're saving actually an additional 11% by not having to pay that. I would just love it if you joined my team, and I'm just so excited to share with you all the ways you can get involved, or you don't have to get involved at all. Just buy your things at a discount. Every single order will be 20% off, and then it can only go up from there for your discount. Well, thank you again, guys, and we will see you next Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Arizona time. Bye-bye.